And let's go Ole Miss versus Georgia. Georgia got the win 42-35 in Sanford Stadium. And that was a big game because Georgia, after losing to Alabama, people weren't as high on them, but it's also the SEC, and you're still going to just be at the top of the tier even if you get a loss because that's a quality loss. And that Alabama loss just keeps looking more quality and quality and quality. Ole Miss, though, didn't play that bad. I mean, they only lost by 7, and I think they played their hearts out, but in the end, Georgia got the upper hand. I think whoa, I almost just said Carson Beck. Wow. Gunnar Stockton. Great game. He's definitely going back up in the Heisman race. He had 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, but he also did some rushing. He had a rushing touchdown. Only missed 5 passes, had 60 yards on the ground. And yeah, I think Georgia just they did give up a lot of points in the second half. I think Ole Miss, I don't know how much they scored, but they scored a lot in the first half. And I think this Georgia team is proving that they can definitely make a big run in the college football playoff. And it's because they know how to fight back, and that's what they did against this Ole Miss team. As for Ole Miss, they did not have a bad game. I think they need to finish strong, and they did not do that. That's what Georgia did. I think that's their first loss. They're 6-1, and I still really believe in this Ole Miss team. I think Ole Miss and Georgia can both make the CFP, and yeah, it was a really good game. Let me say that, and it came down to the last second, and one team scored over 40, one team scored 35 or more. That's an SEC game that you like to watch, not no I don't know, Texas A&M Texas game last year where it was freaking 10-3 the entire game. We like high scoring SEC games, and that's the games that we like. And that's a SEC game where you're like, okay, I'm gonna be watching this game in 5 years, all the highlights, and being like, yeah, that was a good game. So great win for Georgia. I think this elevates them, especially they got elevated in the AP poll a lot actually, not a lot, but they went higher up. Ole Miss went down slightly. And, yeah, not bad for Ole Miss, but very good for Georgia.
Good teams find different ways to win, and Georgia did this. Their last few games they were in defensive slugfests. There was a lot of concerns in my preview. I talked about how the offense they kind of dink and dunked their way through. The vertical pass game wasn't really there these past few games, and I said that they're going to need a huge jump from Gunnar Stockton in this vertical pass game, and they got that and even more. The stat that told the story for me, Georgia had 0 punts and 0 turnovers, scored on every possession except for the last one where they kneeled down and won in victory formation. That is pure offensive dominance. They scored on every drive. Gunnar Stockton, in my opinion, had his best game of his career, 26 for 31, 289, 4 touchdowns, 60 yards on the ground, and a rushing touchdown. If he plays like this, I don't know who's beating him. Ole Miss, they played a great game. There was questions. They didn't look too hot against Washington State, but they bounced back. Trinidad Chambliss was fine. They couldn't really run the ball all too well, but Kawan Lacey did have 2 touchdowns. Their wide receiver, I just want to shout him out. Dejon Stribling, 3 receptions, 97 yards, and a touchdown. He had a crazy one-handed catch over the shoulder. Ole Miss, don't keep your head low. Just you'll be fine. This is your first loss. You looked good doing it. But for Georgia, we can't expect them to play like this every game. But now that we know that they can, they can rely on their defense to get them a victory like they've done the past few games. And they can rely on their offense to win a shootout. Gunnar Stockton won a shootout. And he did this kind of in the Tennessee game, but this was the best game of his career, in my opinion. So, just like JT said, it was another just SEC game, high scoring, something you love to see, just 2 great teams going at it, and this was one of the most exciting games of the day.
And, yeah, great points there, Quinn. And they did find a way to win that game, and tough way to win that game, but they found a different way than what they had been doing.